Hello, I'm Kyle Rogers. On May 2nd, the Washington Post did a video about the anti-war movement in Washington, D.C. in something called the Peace House. They interviewed the co-manager of the Peace House, a Taylor Hall, who is also one of the big leaders of the Occupy D.C. and the general Occupy movement at large. Now, the funny thing is, just one day before this video was published, there was a huge communist demonstration in Washington, D.C. where the communists committed two major acts of violence. The first one, they attempted to vandalize, disrupt whatever, a Gap clothing store, and when the police intervened, they started fighting with the police. Well, take a look at this video. Wow, did you see that? It looked like Taylor Hall ran up beside a cop and punched him as hard as he could. Now, how do I know that that was Taylor Hall? Well, Taylor Hall went on Twitter and bragged about it. He said, "Watch this video of me punching a cop." Okay, it gets better, because after they attack this Gap and then fight with police, they go down the street and they encounter 8 anti-communist counter-protesters and begin to start violence with those guys. All right, take a look at this clip.
At the cops.
Did you see that? It looks like he ran up behind a guy, kicked him as hard as he could, and then ran away real fast. Now, one of his friends on Twitter identified that that was Taylor Hall in that video. The guy in the last frame is Scott Terry, who I talked to in my last video. Now, maybe this happened after the Washington Post had already recorded their documentary presenting this guy as a big peace activist. Well, here he is in trouble with the police at Occupy Pittsburgh. Here he is in Chicago with a mask on with some other nefarious looking people with masks on. Here he is wrestling with the police. I'm not sure what he's doing right there. Here's his mugshot after being arrested for fighting with the police. So he's actually in trouble all the time. The funny thing is, he identifies himself on Facebook as Marxist-Leninist, because, you know, Lenin is all about peace. Really peaceful, loving guy, not at all mass murderer into genocide or anything like that. Another funny aspect of this is a Twitter account for Occupy Carlisle posted a message to him saying, "I saw both your videos." He goes, "You punched a cop and you kick a Nazi." He goes, "Both are epic." Well, let's watch another epic video of Taylor Hall. Here he is last January at Occupy the Supreme Court. Now, the police ask him to lay down and are barely even touching him, and he begins screaming and wailing like he's being dismembered or something. Real epic. This is what passes for a legitimate left-wing peace activist in the mainstream media.